It's called Vulturnus 1/8, and it's North America's first floating windmill. Developed at the University of Maine, the turbine is a prototype of a much larger version still under development for future deployment, according to Elizabeth Faselli.
It's 1/8 the scale of a full-size 5 to 6 megawatt turbine. So this particular unit behind me can power a couple of suburban homes, but primarily we're using it to validate coupled numerical models, which are engineering tools used to design full-scale units.
This is a unit being assembled.
Project Director Habib Daga says that once built, each full-size unit will produce enough energy to power 2,000 to 3,000 homes.
The rotor diameter would be 1.5 football fields. Each blade would be the wingspan of a 747-400 jetliner, each single blade. So these are large units. Hub height would be from the water level to the hub of the unit would be close to 300 feet. So it's almost like a 30 to 35-story building.
Offshore windmills have several advantages over land-based turbines. Wind speeds at sea are much higher, and they peak in the late afternoon when electricity demand is greatest. And whereas seabed-mounted turbines are enormously costly to install, floating windmills like Vulturnus 1/8 can be built on land and then towed out to sea at much lower cost.
The goal is to bring the cost of offshore wind down by 2020 so it's competitive with other forms of electricity. And that opens up a large offshore wind resource in the US and globally. To put things in perspective, there's within 50 miles of the US shores, there's enough offshore wind capacity to power the US 4 times over.
And for coastal residents who consider wind farms an eyesore, Daga's team has a solution.
It is our intention to put these over 20 miles offshore, and because of the curvature of the Earth, they're far enough that you can't see them anymore. They drop off beyond the horizon. So we call them beyond the horizon farms.
The US currently gets around 3.5% of its electric power from wind, much less than Europe, which boasts 7%. But its developers believe Vulturnus 1/8 could generate a new climate of acceptance for clean, sea-based, sustainable power in the US.